Presently, the S&P Tech area shut at a record today, and the Dow shut higher for the fourth consecutive day, its longest series of wins in almost a month. Going along with us presently is Fundra Worldwide Council's head of exploration, Tom Lee. He is likewise a CNBC donor. Merry Christmas to you, Tom. Much obliged to you for being here. I need to get some information about the creature spirits since I was perusing in the maker's notes that you accept they will return 1 year from now. What types of creatures will return? And would they say they were resting this year? Since we saw a few animal categories out in full power in 2024, so I'm interested which ones you think will be in full power in 2025. What I'm mind with creature spirits, and it's a Milton Friedman reference, is that the ISM has been under 50 for very nearly 3 years. Significance organizations have been wary, and their perceivability hasn't been perfect. Yet, at long last, the Federal Reserve is cutting, and we have an approaching organization that is viewed as very business accommodating. In this way, I think organizations without precedent for quite a while will be expansionary and feel sure doing consolidations. I think this is an excellent climate for low covers, mid-caps, the financials, and cyclicals extensively as industrials. Thus, I believe it will closely resemble the market widens in 2025, even as tech kind of stays aware of the market. Indeed, there's, the huge foil in 2025 will be whether there's a strategy blunder, and there can be two sources. One would be assuming the approaching organization carries out levies that are harming to the economy, since we realize that they'd make quick impacts, or on the other hand, assuming there are mass removals that unknowingly affect work markets. The other source would be on the off chance that the Fed turns out to be too expansion-centered and permits the work market to debilitate. Thus, we really slipped from the Fed kind of attempting to help the economy to the Fed attempting to save it. I feel that would be an exceptionally unfavorable turn of events. Tom, one of the huge subjects that we simply needed to bring up for watchers and audience members out there was this thought that digital currencies will in any case be a concentration, given the focal point of the approaching Trump organization. We know that you're bullish on numerous parts of crypto. However, I keep thinking about whether you could take us through where you see the best relative presentation in that crypto scene in 2025. Financial backers, at our firm, for the last 8.5 years, we have prescribed a designation to crypto, including Bitcoin and Ethereum. That allotment likely ought to be a lot higher in 2025 in light of the fact that the administrative scene is really turning out to be more cordial. Thus, I think Bitcoin actually must be at the center of somebody's property, and I see Bitcoin getting to around $250,000 1 year from now. However, that would permit Ethereum, which is around $3,500 now, to likely improve. I figure Ethereum could get to $5,000 or $6,000 1 year from now. Furthermore, I think this is additionally presumably the year where there's what we call alt season, where things like Solana and other altcoins do very well. Tom, assuming you feel like, and this is again moderately talking, that Bitcoin is a product, and that a portion of the organizations that influence those wares could be in play too, similar as gold and gold excavators, what sorts of organizations will be the ones that benefit the most from that crypto development on the off chance that it were to happen speculatively? 2024 has given us experiences. On the off chance that we take a gander at the best performing values that are connected with Bitcoin, our idea of utilized stories to Bitcoin, implying that they're either securing Bitcoin as a depository resource or they're utilized to the cost, they've done quite well. That would be things like MicroStrategy, Silvergate, and Coinbase. There are different organizations that are somewhat doing Michael Saylor's idea of the Bitcoin standard as Mia. Yet, I'd say in a financial backer's portfolio, on the off chance that they're particularly huge cap engaged, an organization like MicroStrategy gives you great openness to Bitcoin. All in all, how might these stocks do in 2025? How about we request Doug Clinton from Smart Alpha and Deepwater Resource, the executives? Welcome back. Seeing you, man, is great. You as well, Scott. Happy holidays. Happy holidays to you too. Much obliged. We prodded the way that the stock you think may not be at the actual first spot on the list 1 year from now is Nvidia. Not that you could do without it. You simply figure others might have their second. I do indeed. I believe on the off chance that you take a gander at the most. Along these lines, Google with TPUs, Microsoft, Meta, Amazon with Trainium, they all have their own custom silicon that they've been creating, and I believe they will be more forceful with sending 1 year from now. Furthermore, at last, this means it's great for providers like Broadcom, who works with the vast majority of those organizations, and it very well may be really great for organizations like Marvell too, which is another stock we own at Cathie Alpha. All things being equal, what occurs right now that Nvidia neglects to satisfy the incredibly elevated assumptions, that's what I believe, assuming you take a gander at simply the artificial intelligence exchange comparative with the website exchange. Individuals frequently make equals, and I think once in a while they're helpful. For this situation, you think back to the website time. Cisco, I believe, was somewhat the perfect example. Nvidia is our perfect example today, and it is by and large, I think, a gauge of exactly the way that individuals are pondering the exchange. Thus, what I figure we could witness is sooner or later 1 year from now, and once more, Nvidia is as yet a top holding for us. However, eventually I figure you could see Nvidia perhaps vacillate a smidgen, and a portion of these different names like a Broadcom or like a Marvell could get somewhat more energy. The opinion then, at that point, might be that, hello, the computer-based intelligence exchange is finished. Nvidia is finished, and subsequently it can't continue onward. I feel that would be an error, however, on the grounds that the computer-based intelligence exchange isn't just about Nvidia, it's about numerous different organizations. And as it keeps on developing, I think we sort of expand out and see more organizations work very much like Nvidia triumphs ultimately the most recent few years. That is to say, do higher rates hurt the development exchange? Or do they simply push individuals back to the greatest stocks on the lookout? Similar to they are currently, I figure it could push individuals back to the greatest stocks. Yet additionally, I figure it will push them to a portion of the man-made intelligence players that have the most development potential too. So once more, assuming you glance back at that time, for the majority of the 90s, the financing costs were 5 to 7%. The 10-year was around 5 to 7%. So well inside where we are today, as a matter of fact, somewhat higher, as there's no standard that says we really want low financing costs to have mechanical development occur at an incredible scale. However, I suppose assuming you see what are the organizations that can push through possibly higher rates or diligently higher rates than we've seen for the most recent few years, absolutely it very well may be the Uber covers. They've proactively demonstrated the way that they can do that. Yet I additionally figure you could take a gander at possibly some product names that begin to get an artificial intelligence offered. Snowflake is one model, one more holding of our own that has discussed a simulated intelligence story. And I think organizations like that who can say, hello, we truly do have a play in man-made intelligence. We're on the product side. Clients are beginning to send us for simulated intelligence use cases. They could have a case to work 1 year from now as well. What do you like generally beyond tech? We generally recognize you as a tech financial backer, and I feel like the vast majority of our discussions are about that area and those stocks. What do you like beyond there? It's absolutely where I invest the greater part of my energy. Yeah, Cathie Alpha. We in all actuality do utilize man-made intelligence to look substantially more comprehensively than just tech. Also, one antagonist thought that man-made intelligence has been on throughout the previous a while that hasn't exactly worked out up to this point has been the energy exchange. What's more, utilizing our simulated intelligence models to make forecasts going into 2025. One expectation that simulated intelligence has made is you could see oil hit $100 a barrel. I don't think anyone has that on their guide, as it's unquestionably antagonist, assuming it works out. I think the oil exchange, or the energy exchange general, presumably works amazingly. Yet, stocks like GE, Rova, not reliant completely on oil, but rather I think as far as framework build-out, environmentally friendly power energy will keep on being a subject. And afterwards, Schlumberger is another that is a bigger holding in our portfolio right now.